Hi, my name is Port Mahoney. This is my e-portfolio, the reflection piece of it, and the highlights. First, I'd like to say it's been quite a challenge. I thought that when I started this, I had a pretty good grasp of the ins and outs of administration, and with all my experience in education and coaching, I thought that those tools would help me, and they did. But I really had to dig deep and find a lot about myself and how challenging it is to be an administrator and what it takes to be an administrator and the day-to-day operations of it. I really enjoyed it. I challenged myself through it, and that's a big reason why I chose Fort Hays and chose this endorsement, was to challenge myself, and I'm looking for new ways to challenge myself both personally and professionally. My highlights, starting with the district. The district stuff was probably the most challenging in all areas because I was dealing with other adults. As administrator, I've learned very quickly that you have to put out a lot of fires and deal with a lot of different personalities with adults. One of my first professional days was with all new teachers. That was probably my most enjoyable. They were new to the district. They were actually, none of them were new teachers as first-year teachers, but they were new to the district, so they were eager to learn. They were eager to know about our district, the way our PE department is run, and I was able to make 12 new relationships with people from all walks of life, and I really enjoyed that part of it, to get to know them on a one-to-one scale, and I felt like I was helping them. And throughout this school year, they've contacted me for random questions, and I thought that was important, that I made a connection with them and that they can trust me and value me and my experience. The other district professional development days, 115 PE teachers, trying to get all their attention at one time and get them to buy into what the district asked me to develop, to plan. And one way I did that was through a Survey Monkey, and I got them to give a choice in the voice, or a voice in the choice. I wanted them to help develop those professional development days so that they had their 2 cents put into it. So when I did develop it, it met the needs of the majority of the group. Obviously, I couldn't meet the needs of everybody, but I did take quite a bit of time researching and developing those days, and it really helped me to publicly speak in front of my peers. And I used to sit right by them, and now I'm standing in front of them. It was a challenge, and something I'm glad I did. It's a very stressful part of it, but that's part of being a leader and part of the administrative role that I'm looking forward to. Attending the board meetings was very unique. I did not realize the capacity that 60 schools and our administrative team at the district level, what it takes to run a meeting, what it takes to develop a plan. And I continue to go to those board meetings just to educate myself. I think it's important to learn from everybody, and I've learned a lot from those board members, how they see things. They're looking at the whole big picture, and I think that's important as an administrator to take your blinders off and look at the big picture and understand that you're in a community and you're taking care of a lot of people, and it's important to listen to everyone and understand what's going on in our state, in our country, as far as education, and what we can do as a community to make the education system the best we can for our kids. The other thing I did was I got CAFER'd to come to our school. Was coming to our school. I designed an 8-hour workshop with the help of the district to meet the needs of our PE people. I think it's important to visit new ways of education, new tools out there, and I thought that bringing CAFER'd in would allow the majority of the group to go to different stations to see different things that met the needs of them. That was actually pretty simple as far as the idea, getting it all done and getting it all taken care of and being able to be on budget. was a little bit of a challenge, but with the help of our teaching and learning district administrator, we were able to get that done. As far as the high school, middle school goes, I just finished up meeting with the new middle school that's being built and designing their PE curriculum and ordering $29,000 worth of equipment for their school. Great challenge, something that I researched, went to all the other middle schools, talked to them what they use, what they don't use. I know that budgets are tight. I really wanted to make sure that the equipment that we purchased met the needs of all students. And since I don't teach middle school, that's kind of why I went after it, because I thought it was going to be important, because one day I want to be in the middle school and to see how that's run. And plus, I learned a lot about how a new school opens and what it takes, and it's very time consuming. And this small piece that I was a part of really gave me the insight that I think I need for future endeavors. On the coaching side, I chose to be elected, or I was elected, the president of the Sunflower League. That is our league, 14 schools, and I am in charge of designing all the meetings, which we have 4 or 5 meetings a year. That includes with all the athletic directors in our school. I have to report to them, and all the guidelines that we use, the laws, and the scheduling. And I put together a master schedule of 14 teams, a 3-day tournament with 50 teams in that tournament, plus all sub-varsity games as well as that is. That's the AD part of me that I'd like to pursue, and I thought that was a small step, leading, again, more adults, but I'm looking at all 14 schools and the needs of them and scheduling them home and away, making sure that we have the facilities that we need. I really enjoyed that. That's kind of my niche as far as that goes. So that was, to me, that wasn't work, but it was a challenge to make sure that everything worked right. Plus, I got to meet 14 or 13 athletic directors and work with them and see what I did right, what I did wrong, what's out there, other things to look for in the future. And the board just approved it, so we got everything done right. Tomorrow, I am in charge of 1,000 students and 15 different community members as we are hosting a health fair. That's an organization piece, meeting with the school, being part of the community, working with community members, and having them come into our school, talk to our kids, have our district administration and our local administration come in and see what we're doing to increase kids' awareness on mental, social, physical health, as well as job opportunities and career opportunities when these kids leave our building and head to their next endeavors outside of high school. Also on the athletic piece, I was a game manager, where I am in charge of monitoring all gate fees, all officials, people taking tickets, people doing the scoreboard. Again, that's an athletic director piece, but it's a lot of juggling, making sure everybody's getting there when you're in charge of adults, and you've got to be within budget. You've got to collect money. You've got to count money. And I remember that from one of our studies, our cases about dealing with money and the missing $50 bill. So I thought that was an important piece for me to manage a lot of adults, a big building with a lot of community members in our building to deal with any situations or problems that might occur, as they do on most game nights. And I will continue to do that up until softball season starts in March. In the high school level, I worked with our principal and the counselors and helped design the master schedule. I did not do that for the entire school. I just did that for our PE department. But with so many kids in our school and so many different activities, it is a challenge trying to get all 6 of our teachers where they belong, what they need, and to make it equal and fair. And it's a small piece, but I also was a part of watching the master schedule and how the master schedule was built. And very insightful, very stressful, and you can see that you need a lot of people to juggle all those schedules and to make sure they work. And that was very eye-opening to me and very educational as well. I'm working on currently a book study with the elementary folks. I chose not to do discipline at the elementary level because I did a little bit of it, but it's just different. So I thought a book study, working with other administrators, other people at the elementary level. The book study was the Energy Bus. Part of it was reading a book and collaborating, but the other part was to kind of understand what they do every day and the struggles that they see and the stresses that they feel, and what would benefit me if I ever became an administrator at that level. And that has been so important to me. I really kind of fell in love with the elementary level because it's new every day, it's energetic every day, and sometimes you get lost in the high school world because a lot of these kids can do things on their own and they don't need you quite as much. They need you, but at the elementary level it's quite different. So I thought that was beneficial for me. Plus I made connections with other elementary folks. I also worked with a handful of teachers. We have a 50-minute lunch here at this school, and this is a new program. 25 minutes is dedicated to lunch. The other 25 minutes is dedicated to all students going throughout the school and finding a teacher that they need help with. So, for example, if I was struggling in math, the math teacher has lunch for the first 25 minutes. So that's when I would eat lunch. The next 25, I'd go to math class and get help on a test, a quiz, make up something, or just talk to the teacher to make sure I'm ready to go for the next day. The problem we're having is we're not getting kids where they need to be, so we designed a Google form for every teacher to document where these kids are when they meet in your classroom, so that we can provide that data to the district so that they see that this new lunch system is beneficial to the kids and to the teachers. And this new Google format has been really helpful for the teachers to organize who's coming to class and who's not coming to class, so that they can call on that kid and say, hey, you haven't been here in 2 days, I need you to come. It allows for better scheduling. Plus, as far as education goes, and what I've learned throughout this year, is documentation and data is extremely important. Lastly, it's been quite a challenge. It's been a good challenge. I thought I was prepared, like I said, but I've learned so much, not only through every class, but through this e-portfolio on what it takes to be an administrator and the time and effort and how precise you need to be with things. And I think the one thing that this portfolio taught me more than anything is to work ahead, to think ahead, because something's going to land on your plate 5 minutes before the bell rings, 5 minutes before it's time to go home, that you need to take care of. So working ahead, being prepared, surrounding yourself with good people is very beneficial, and something that if I become an administrator, I'll make sure I do in the future. Thank you.